16 teams from across 4 regions have competed in 11 matches out of 18 so far here at the GLL Grand Slam PUBG Classic. And now the field is really starting to show us who is substantiated at the top and who is lacking at the bottom. Still a lot to play for and many teams in contention, but you really have to start getting some big scores in these matches. We have just one more to go tonight. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. My name is Paula and I'm still joined by Steve and Patrick. Guys, let's talk about the final match of the day. We're playing Miramar once again. We've seen 2 repeat chicken dinners today. It's been a crazy day so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of centralized circles for Miramar, which I has found pretty interesting. Like, they're all kind of around Picado. I'm used to seeing, like, the extremist stuff, right? Maybe some Pariso, even maybe a crazy island out in the middle of the water.
Yeah, we see a lot of those, but also a little bit of crazy planes coming in. So, I mean, in the end, having those crazy planes with central circles, it helps the teams to actually just play a little bit of a normal game. And it's great to see because then you can actually see which teams are actually doing really good. And it's not because of a little bit of, you know, getting the circle on top of them, but actually playing the game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all playing games. We love video games. In fact, earlier today, I played some games with you guys and some of the other talent.
Wow, they cut that fast.
Hey guys, I'm here with Frost, Matchroom, and Toffees. My name is Parla, and we are playing the Yes or No game. Yeah, and so essentially the way this game works is I have a list of questions which I pose to the guys, and they cannot answer with yes or no. You have to give some creative sort of response, right?
So it's called yes or no, but we can't say yes or no.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that way.
Just did it.
That makes no sense, but I'm with you on this.
Guys, are you ready?
Yes!
Yes! Cool.
Wait, we're not allowed to say yes.
Damn it, we're all out. Let's go.
Are you on a diet, Frost?
Are you calling me fat?
Are these questions hard, Matchroom?
Not at all.
Are you handsome, Toffees?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Do you drive?
Sometimes I do, but only in video games. No, I can't. I do drive my side games.
You should have said not well, dude. Not well.
Did you put on makeup today?
I have not put on makeup today.
Are you single?
That's absolutely correct right now.
Are you wearing jeans, Matchroom?
I like to wear jeans, and I am wearing jeans right now.
Okay. Toffees, do you like sports?
Esports is king
Okay.
of sports.
You guys are good, man. You guys, this is too easy. Who came up with this game? They're too smart. These guys are casters, analysts, pro players at some points as well. They're not falling for this, right, guys?
Woo! What? Sorry.
I saw your trick, and I'm not going to fall for it.
Do you work on Saturdays?
I work any day that I'm told to show up and start talking.
Yeah, because it's Saturday today, so. Are you a good boy?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the answer.
Yeah. do you drink beer, Toffees?
I prefer to drink scotch, but I guess.
Okay, so whiskey's your preferred choice of drink.
I generally, but only if it's scotch whiskey.
Do you agree?
You're getting pretty creative with
He's
trying to
getting
set it up
very
for this.
creative.
I mean, I'm trying my best. Like, if you just read a list of questions, this is never gonna work. You're gonna try like catch them out, right? Catch you guys out.
Well, I mean, do you think it's gonna work?
Yeah,
Do you think this will work at some point?
Probably. No. Do you like kids? You have kids, so.
I have 2 kids.
Who are you asking this question to?
Do you like kids?
Me?
Yeah. Why would you can't just respond to every question by going, me? Like you're surprised by the whole circumstance that we're in.
Answer. That's the whole reason he's doing it.
Are you running out of questions?
No.
We win! Got him! Yes! Let's go, boys! We win!
Game's over. Victory is ours.
That's how this is supposed to go, right?
Wait, what's that? What's that? How it works?
Yeah, sorry about that. Tried to make that game as entertaining as possible. It was pretty tough, but I had fun with you guys. Anyway, let's turn our attention to the game at hand, but with a specific focus on the Rumblers. Steve, tell me about this team and what we can expect on Miramar.
Yes, I would love to tell you about this team. These guys, you know what? They had a slow start yesterday. They bounced back. They got the double, and they felt very confident coming into today. I don't know what's happening right now. They're less of rumblers and maybe a bit of a twitch at this point because they're not shaking things up. They're not playing their way, and it's just not working for me.
It's automatic.
Patrick, I think on the overall leaderboard, they were just outside the top 8.
Currently, they're sitting on 7th place.
Oh, 7th. Okay, there we go. They're in 7th position, so that's decent. They're in the money, but what can they do to impress their will once again and potentially get another W under their belts?
I mean, we saw Lost HG being the top fragger of MPL. Right now, I feel like we haven't seen him frag out. Not close to what he did in MPL, so I want to see him do a little bit more of damage towards the other teams.
I think the key here is that they're staying in 7th, and they are one of the teams that I think is the strongest at keeping the one game at a time mentality. They shake it off. They go outside together after every match. They say, you know what? It is what it was. Let's focus on the next one. So they've got the best chance of coming out and having a good last game, even though they've had a rough day.
I hope they have a good last game.
I do too.
Currently, they're sitting with 6 kills today.
Yeah.
And they ended last game of yesterday with 7 kills, so...
I mean, a little bit earlier, I saw Godspeed. He had a couple of crumbs in his beard that I think was weighing down his ability to win. So if they clean that out, he'll be thriving going forward. Also, Lost HD has been getting picked off on rotations, killed outside of cars, knocked off of motorcycles. If they could just get him to a point where he can hold a gun and shoot something, I think they're in a better spot.
Why is Porus pointing to the ceiling? He's like, no, just upwards. I don't know, onwards and upwards?
Well, right now they have been going downwards.
Okay, I see. So they're looking to turn things around.
I think he was just going to tell us that he's the tallest coach in the building.
Yeah.
Also very true. There it is. But that was, I mean, you had him yesterday, stopped by the bar. I mean,
he stopped by my soft drink bar. He did indeed.
And I mean, did he give you any insights into like where their preparation levels are? I know they don't really watch VODs together, so maybe that's it.
The main thing that stood out to me is that he's essentially just helping them out here.
Yeah.
This isn't his usual role. He's usually commentating in the MPL and getting involved in other stuff. And what his role has been here is just to try to keep the guys upbeat, relaxed, do any sort of menial stuff that's just going to help them out outside the game to make sure that they can focus inside. Right, Patrick?
Yes, that's correct. And I mean, he knows them really well as well. He's a good friend with them, so it helps a lot. It's easier when you know the guys. Hey, what do you want to eat? Oh, burgers? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he ordered them all like pizza yesterday. It's like a
burgers.
Burgers is a gift.
Yeah, they've
eaten
burgers every night they've been here. So, you know, it is what it is. But these guys are journeymen. They've been in the scene for a long time. They know what it's like to face disappointment. I think they can handle it, and I look forward to them bouncing back.
I do as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our last match of the day. Is everybody in the crowd ready? All right, let's get this underway and head over to our 2 casters. They both begin with the letter M. It's Matrim and Moses.
Thank you so much, Paula. Yes, indeed, we're headed into the last game of the day, and it is very close to top the leaderboard, but outside that top 4, there's a bit of a points disparity starting to form, Matt.
I gotta say, before we go down that topic, I feel bad for the Rumblers. We give them so much crap in North America about being the biggest team out there. Even when they come to Switzerland, everybody is still making the food jokes their way. That's just...
You know what? It's not. It's a palate thing. But all the NA teams are like, where are the nearest McDonald's? And if there's no fast food nearby, I am appalled by the diet of the North American teams.
The burgers at the hotel are really, really good.
Okay, fair enough. So, I'll give you that. But
I've been having them as well. So it's not just a big
Romania, Sweden, it doesn't matter. It's like Zampa especially. Shout out to Zampa, who's basically a McDonald's radar. But we're just been talking about the power, the prowess, the execution of Athletico. But Liquid is right there as well. They've been playing quite well. It hasn't been going super great on Miramar, to be fair, but they have put themselves in a position to continue to perform and stay atop the leaderboard along with G2, even if the games haven't been going that well.
I gotta say, everybody keeps talking about who's going to get this last regional spot moving over towards the Classic, and that's going to be like the big event towards the end of the year. And it's been a conversation, North America, EU, North America, EU. I'm starting to come around on, hey, Oceania, let's go ahead and get them an extra spot because these guys are putting on one hell of a show.
Okay, here's a little shade for you. Why would they need an extra spot when they've only got 1 good team?
2 good teams.
Okay, I'll give them 2.
2 good teams. No disrespect to brothers out there. They're playing really well. They just cannot find a good spot to get their feet underneath of them. But here we go. We got the plane up and in the air. You can see drops already coming out. Pretty friendly plane path. Nothing too terribly crazy going to come into play. So with this, everybody should be able to move into the last game fairly comfortable. So let's see here. Looks like nothing too crazy. We've got G2 that's still making their way over towards Tierra Branca. Hell yeah, brother, making their drops back around Junkyard, going to keep pushing back around, passing over where the last game ended at, over at Minas Generalis. We haven't seen really too much craziness coming into Miramar so far today.
No, and Miramar is, we've also been having really like standard circles, I guess you could call them, in the center of the map where they continue to shrink center, where it's left a lot of viable compounds in for a long time. And, you know, having got to know Extreme a little bit through the NPL when he was there, I mean, he always talks up the region and how much talent they have that never get to see the big stage. And all jokes aside, they have really shown. And even talking on Twitter, I was, you know, joking about how we will probably see Luke 12 in the NPL at some point. But they have basically said, or at least the response I've seen, is that they want to stay together, even if that means staying in their native Australia. And that means, you know, they could stay together and dominate for a long time. We're going to see that first circle match showing up on the far west side of the map.
And it is right along the edge of the map. Going to cut off a couple of places you could potentially go to, as naturally you can see that there's going to be those hills, the mountains, whatever you want to call them, off towards the west. So only about 2/3 of the circle playable.
Let's check in with the Rumblers as we watch them hit the ground about how they handle rotation.
I mean, every team has their standard drops. So once we get down, we basically just need to see, you know, where the circle goes. We have a lot of planned rotations. We have good rotations and good scouting practices, so we just have to make sure that we've done our homework. We know where a lot of the teams like to rotate, where we can catch them off guard, where potentially we could get caught off guard, and that way we can just set up in the circle and start doing our thing.
Not much to worry about inside this round, as they're already kind of hanging out right on the edge of the circle. Really, they can make their way over to the west just a touch, but one thing to note, FaZe Clan already in the circle pretty close towards center, and FaZe Clan have been like sharks out for blood today.
And they're going to get the benefit of that first zone where they loot in Monte Nuevo. Uba already in the northern position. He's in a great spot. Now with so much of the map, rather, in the non-playable zone, you have to assume that this thing is going to shift either south or at least, to the very least, to the east, as we see the Knights also in prime position along with Spacestation Gaming, who really need a good break in this game. They haven't had a good rotations whatsoever, and this center position will minimize their movement here in the early and probably mid-game as well.
What's kind of cruel about this circle is it's very hard to go west whenever you're trying to push through. A lot of the roads naturally just go north-south, and then the way the terrain kind of plays out makes it very difficult. So as you're driving through in these rotations, if you opt away from the roads, which most pro players are going to do, you can suddenly just find yourself with a squad that's just hidden back behind this one little trench, can pop up and do a ridiculous amount of damage. We see FaZe already on the move, pushing back around where Space Station Gaming is at, as both these guys very close to center already.
I love the positioning of Incognito. They're going to have a great choke point to control. Very difficult to get past them if they decide to hold on to that Death Valley kind of area. Knights in a similar position. Meanwhile, Athletico is close to the zone, but they will have to move through those two teams, rather, as the Knights and Incognito set up a little bit of a roadblock. But so much map pressure, Matt, on the right side of that circle, where I would say most of our teams aren't even close, some even as far up in G2's case towards the military base, as this early zone is probably going to see a lot of teams going both very far south and very far north.
I mean, that's just got to be the safe option. You have to assume that towards the center of the circle, especially towards the east, there's just going to be a ton of people. Cloud9 doing what Cloud9 does, already on rotation right now, trying to cut their path back over towards the circle already, and they are opting into that far northern strategy that you were talking about, which is going to put them back over next to Na'Vi, right back behind Incognito.
This could be potentially dangerous for C9. They're moving early, but that means Bestlock is still in his position. I imagine still looting, maybe waiting to see if anyone comes his way. And even though there's only one player there for Na'Vi, he could do a ton of damage. And C9, the last thing they need is more issues in the early game.
Well, speaking of early games, some of the people that have been really dictating what's happening are the guys we're looking at right now. Bitloft. Sure, they're having a little bit of trouble getting to the late game, but that's because they are so active in these earlier stages of the game. It seems like that's where they're trying to get their points, is off of early game kills and just trying to do these surprise fights that nobody is expecting.
Liquid, I think, is being a little bit more cautious as they move in the early game as well. Doing a little bit of a leapfrog pattern. Jeem stopping to scout. Yempty and Co. will continue to move on forward. And they're headed towards Bitloft, as you just mentioned. So now they've kind of tangled up once or twice. and I believe they're going to get a line of sight very quickly. The first shots of the game ring out.
Well, I mean, after what happened inside the last round, you can't be surprised that Team Liquid's taking it a little bit more cautious, trying to get as much information as they can as they're making their way through. And again, this is one of those funnel points on the map, so while Team Liquid can make it through this, they have to be very careful and assume that it's going to be very dangerous from here on out. Meanwhile, Incognito also finding themselves right next to Spacestation Gaming.
Everyone kind of moving center right now, Matt, as we so often see. But luckily for Athletico, Incognito has moved off. They're now taking fire from Spacestation Gaming. So the choke points around that the western side of the map, excuse me, the eastern side of the map will be kind of free for Athletico to continue to move. C9 luckily will also continue to move unopposed. I still question the likes of Tempo Storm. They're going for that far southern movement, and they'll likely come up through Val Del Mar. There's just no other options. But by the time they get to where they want to go, we'll likely be seeing the circle change. Well, G2 headed the north way.
Rumblers might find themselves in a little bit of trouble as well, as they're extending pretty far north and about to enter right next to FaZe Clan territory. See Los driving by on the motorcycle. Uba's taking a couple of shots towards him. Going to be a lot of damage, but Los narrowly manages to survive.
Los going down is just the worst thing to happen to the Rumblers. And now it's not that the rest of the team can't frag and do an excellent job in their own right, but Los is such a powerhouse. And in rotation, 2-man on the back of the motorcycle, any downs here will just be demoralizing. And Rumblers need to keep 4 strong. They need to have all pistons firing if they want to have any hope of competing at the top end of this game.
Na'Vi has completed their rotation back over here next to Space Station Gaming. Looks like just about everybody has managed to make it towards the circle, but there are a lot of teams that did opt into that northern rotation. As you can see on the map, we have Cloud9, Hell Yeah Brother, and then back behind that's going to be G2. Just a lot of these teams coming in very last second. Actually, 2 of the members for G2 about a kilometer away from their other 2 members, still outside in the blue right now.
For how much space there was on the map, or how little space, I should say, we haven't seen too many crunch points just yet, but that northern side has got basically a line of ants moving along. We've got Cloud9, Hell Yeah Brother, and G2 coming in from behind. Meanwhile, Red Canids and Tempo Storm, they're now in the blue, and they're still making their way to their first zone. And Tempo does this all the time, where they will, air for the blue damage. Reels is going to take some shots at Ibiza. Liquid will luckily, oh man, only Ibiza by himself. I don't think he's got any support.
Team Liquid is firing from distance to try to support, try to stop Reels from pushing over and forward, but he should be able to easily make it over towards this wall. Is any more support going to come down for it, or is this just going to be a 1v1, Ibiza and Reels right next to each other? Ibiza still playing around the top part of this, and here come the grenades.
Yeah, they both have them out at the ready. Reel's going to throw down first. Ibiza likely going to throw out first, and he's going to back away. Now, they just need to wait for support. Reel's as good of a player as he is. It's really dangerous taking a 1v1 against anybody in this game. So all the rest of the Knights will show up in support. Ibiza's got his work cut out for him. He's got the 3x, the 2 lined up, but he doesn't get any downs, and he's going to get quickly taken down. That's going to be Ibiza down. Liquid cannot help him.
Liquid was contemplating. They were trying to jump into a vehicle to make a push over there, but there's just too many other teams that are around him. That's kind of the downside of whenever you move towards the center of the circle. It's just too dangerous at this stage. You can see Ibiza goes down, and look at this. Knights is going to continue up at 4, and these 2 cars are going to bump into each other. This is just a direct push right up towards Team Liquid. Naturally, Knights do have the numbers to work with, but they don't have them all there yet. So James is just throwing down grenades, buying a little bit more space.
The Vector plays. I'm interested to see how James can use that weapon. Empty on the outside with the AK, and they're nading out to make sure Knights can't make any forward movement. Meanwhile, Reels is going to arrive. He's going to get taken down by Empty. Actually, Wanted goes down. Reels bails out of the Bronco. He's going to hold on to the ridge line, and this is now going to be a very precarious situation for both of these teams. They've both lost 1. Wanted likely going to go down. Yes, indeed, 3v3.
So now you can see James right next to Znark, trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? He does have Jimpy that's over there next to him. Stampy's taking up the rear position, slowly making his way over here. So this has turned into a 3v3. Knights does have the ridgeline that they can play with, but with this Team Liquid, very aware, retreating out of the position. Looks like they're just going to throw up. Zark, that's not how you want to start a fight, brother. So that's probably going to slow this down a little bit. Team Liquid just going to go ahead and cut out.
Yeah, it's a smart move. The circle has shifted all the way south. Everyone already on rotation. FaZe was early to leave, and they found themselves in a great position. Rumblers there as well. And Liquid is just going to have to cut their losses. SSG opening up with the spray, trying to get someone down from Hell Yeah Brother, but they cannot do so. SSG is kind of playing the gatekeeper on the northern side.
It is just like a corral of cars driving around towards the center right now. Ghost taking a couple of shots back over towards Singularity. All these people that are already in defended positions are just forcing everybody out around. You can see Incognito rolls right over towards the Rumblers, gets one down off of it. FaZe Clan overlooking this fight.
Nice shots there. Lowe's is going to step up. I get taken down by Samty from somewhere, and Lowe's is going to get smoked out and hopefully res. But someone's doing damage, and I think they might lose him if they can't get that res out quickly. There's the line of sight from Samty. He's so far away with that 4x scope. Amazing he was able to get someone down. And it looks like even though this fight is breaking out, the Rumblers might be able to reset as they've taken down the one from Incognito up close.
And Waikika Mukau, I believe, might be the last member alive for Incognito, just kind of playing along the safe point. Meanwhile, Na'Vi pushing back over towards Cloud9, and it is just a fight towards the north as there are so many teams just stacked up around each other, all just funneled into this position.
What is C9? C9 is wide in the open. Nerf is on no health. K-Mine is going down and out, and that is going to leave essentially only Profi in a position to start doing anything. I guess they do have H-Win as well. So even though K-Mine's been taken out, but they're scattered, Matt. They're all over the map right now.
Well, everybody that's trying to go through this point is scattered around the location. We've got Cloud9 in position. Hell yeah, brother. Spacestation Gaming, Na'Vi, everybody is just within a couple of meters of each other. Profi goes live, takes a couple of shots, but does not get the down. Is the grenade going to follow up? I don't think it's got the distance, and nope. That's going to give best of luck a little bit more space to retreat from, but not in the safe zone as of yet. Na'Vi's got to figure out what they want to do.
Profi normally wouldn't make that level of a mistake, missing that headshot spray, but unfortunately they get nothing for it. But at least they're in the zone at this stage. They have lost their star in K-Mine, but that means they're going to have to move forward without him. So now they have at least 3, and they can continue to move south as the zone is closing once again. The Rumblers, they've been holding on to their little one-man shack, and Yempty is down in the smoke. Hopefully Liquid can get a res there if capable. James still has the Vector, which unfortunately in this meta basically makes him ineffective at that mid-range. I hope that he has some skills with it. He's got an SKS as well. So for Liquid, it's just been a rough start here, Matt.
Well, with that, Liquid's going to play a little bit more defensive. Got to be super cautious. Now, they do have a very nice centralized position. We've seen Liquid in this position beforehand where they've lost a couple of members, but in a great position to continue to survive. So really, they just have to make sure that the Rumblers don't push up next to them. Bitloft back behind them can't really push up back behind this. And again, it's going to be about what's happening in the north. You can see the fact that it's going to be more congestion just happening as all these teams are having to push through.
Na'Vi is going to be taking a ton of circle damage here as they're trying to find a way to get south before getting taken out by SSG or C9. Liquid's still applying pressure to the Rumblers regardless of how much damage they've been taking. That is going to allow Jempty rather to be rezzed as now for the Rumblers just kind of chilling. We've seen basically everyone in the circle stay in the circle as it's shifted all the way south. Meanwhile, Gnark is going to take down Braceco. G2 has lost a couple early, and I believe it's just Udyr and Kate left as the Knights playing a factor, and they're going to continue going deep. The Vector in the mid-air shot. Amazing from Jeems. And that is a terrific shot as now it's only Udyr, and G2 is going to go down as Waldo cleans him up.
Talk trash about the Vector. Look what happens, Moses.
Oh, yeah.
Super effective weapon at that, and we have a death up on top of that building.
Yeah, no, good luck getting the box as well. He was like, it was like ET going home at that stage, and the Vector was there to welcome him. Nice shots there. I take it all back.
Tempo Storm got themselves a nice high ground position, looking back down towards FaZe Clan. Really towards the center is where it's turned very, very dangerous. Now with the terrain on this map, there's a road running right through the middle of it, and that's kind of the valley position. So a lot of these teams kind of looking from hilltop to hilltop and can take a couple of shots back, but it's these teams outside the circle towards the north that are just having to cut through very dangerous locations. You can see Cloud9 just rolling through here, praying that they can find somewhere safe to stop at.
Cloud9 has not found a safe haven anywhere on Miramar so far, and that's, I mean, FaZe has just been, they just throw their weight around. They don't care who's where. They will fight you at any time, in any place. And they've got some good, like, even though it's a small split, they have great map control on the western side. C9 kept 3, and we're about to see another circle shift. Finally, Na'Vi will arrive in the zone. Well, almost in the zone anyway. Athletico is there looking at him, and they're going to get some more pressure from Flood. And Na'Vi, they're still held out of the zone. They have a little bit to go, but they can't move much.
I mean, they have themselves that little ridge line, but that's not inside the safe zone. So it looks like they're trying to get some type of down. They do get it with Flood, just trying to contain everybody from Athletico and maybe buy a little bit more space as Aduzi has managed to make it in the safe zone and at least find themselves a little bit of a spot to play around. Smokes are going to come out, and this is where the detriment comes into play. Whenever you go for that res, you have one member that's going to try to push over there. Luke Ware, this is where the push is going to happen from, so he has to retreat away from it, and Flood is as good as dead.
Here comes the grenades, all but ready to seal the fate of Flood as Athletico loses one, and they're going to back away. Na'Vi, they're going to give them some space, and the space they need to take the zone. Even though Na'Vi has not been having the best of times, they are a force to be reckoned with. SNG, the ever-present Singularity. Just waiting. They've got the
Athletico.
Oh, they're taking a lot more damage, Matt. Luke is going to go down and out.
I mean, 49 people alive, and there is nowhere for Athletico to go. They take a couple of casualties inside of that, so now in a little bit of a bad spot, just 2 members up towards the top of it. Athletico's right over here next to a doozy who's still on the hunt for Zoid. Zoid mate looking around the outside of it, walks right up into this. A doozy with a nice spray to take him down.
Coming alive now is Na'Vi. Another one down for Athletico. This northeastern side has got so many teams. SSG is in there, Singularity is there. We've even got a Crate joining the party, and we see another southern shift as Tempo Storm has got to be feeling pretty good. They've got a 2-2, high ground, good split.
Meanwhile, everybody else is feeling the crunch as there is not a lot of places left to go. Bitloft just runs back through here just trying to find any type of shack that they can work with. We still have about 8 teams need to make their way down here, and it's Red Canids that's just raining down the damage.
Gotta love those rock-solid laundry lines that will just stop the car in its tracks. As now Balak is going to open up with the AK. Red Canids, they've got the mini at the ready. They're watching Bitloft arrive, but no line of sight just yet. Oh, he's got a little motorcycle in there. Isn't that cute?
So here comes more damage back down towards Hell Yeah Brother, just trying to find somewhere to call home. Cloud9's back down on the other side of this, and it's really a battle of this hilltop as everybody's just playing along the valley, just trying to find anywhere that they can just try to find some type of safety at.
And that northeast, that whole northern side is about to become an absolute bloodbath as there's just no space left. SSG, Rumblers going at it, more nades coming in. Bitloft and Red Canids, they're very close quarters. More nades continue to come in. Rusty's on almost no health. And 1 FPS, nowhere to be found. Rusty's gonna go down, and there they go. Big bomb, they're out.
Nice plays coming out. Bitloft managing to defend that up with looked like a disadvantaged position. Meanwhile, FaZe Clan looking back over towards Na'Vi. Na'Vi has been caught in a couple of fights, but with the 2-2 split that FaZe Clan is running, they have to be cautious. Grenade's going to bounce right up in front of Na'Vi, but that's going to give them a little bit more space. Looks like FaZe Clan aware they don't have the numbers, so they're starting to retreat back, try to get in line of sight of their teammates.
This is where the 2-2 split becomes precarious. They've got all 4, I believe, of Na'Vi on foot below them. And here comes Snark on the motorcycle as well. He's looking for somewhere to call home. And SSG continues to nade and trade with the Rumblers elsewhere as Na'Vi and FaZe are very close quarters. The vision just not there for FaZe. Joining in now with the Rumblers.
Got a grenade up and prepped. Going to go back over Valiate's direct. Is it going to bounce over and does a decent amount of damage over towards Hetchwer. Still going for the res, though. Here comes a spray back over towards Narc, and there we go. Knights gets eliminated by Waikika just hiding out on the side of a hill.
I don't think he even got the point. I think Snark actually fell to his death in that situation. So Micro, he's in a pretty bad spot. He's stuck out by the rock with the blue at his back. This is phase number 4. That zone is going to tickle, and it's going to tickle him to death if he's not careful. Meanwhile, C9, Tempo Storm, more nades coming up and over. No vision coming for C9.
That's going to fall just a touch short. Tempo Storm still holding down this high ground advantage while Cloud9's just trying to play in any divot that they can find to make the push up. Well, Luke playing around the top of this, trying to see if he can get any vision. Next grenade should be a little bit closer. Luke does go down for that. Your boy Dre already repositioning away from it. The other 2 members of Tempo Storm just in full-on push this direction, but I don't know if they're going to be able to make it over towards Maluk in time. The grenade's going to bounce away from it.
C9 needs to move right now because they're being encircled. They don't know it. C9 likes to put the brakes on in these situations when they should be pressing W. It's what they're known for, but it's so hard to push these blind ridges. Profi searching for any information. We can see it here. Steps over, nice shots, immediate trade. Nerf will step up and take Sharky and Zampa in the back line. Here's the flank. H-Win wasn't watching the backside, and now it's just Nerf. He's trying to go for the res maybe, and the shots come out. Profi not going to be rezzed. This is a 1v1 between 2 NA powerhouses. Dre, why shoot when you can grenade? And it's going to bounce once and out of harm's way. Nerf continues to take more and more pressure.
But he did manage to get the high ground position, so it's buying him a little bit more breathing room. Profi about to die, trying to go for the res over towards it, but Team Liquid pushing right up on the backside of this hill. You can see James is running back
Vector
behind
time.
this. Is Nerf even going to be aware of it? Singularity is trying to hold out Ghost on the other side.
Vector time. Well, actually, it was a barrel now, so it's going to be empty getting the kill, and there goes C9, 10th place.
Singularity running through the smokes. They've got so many teams around him. It's going to be Spacestation Gaming and Ghost that's just trying to hold the angle, but it's going to be Spacestation Gaming looking back down these hillside at these 2 different teams while FaZe is sneaking up back behind this. Finally, the shots come out from Mixie, and that's going to force them to retreat away from this look back behind them.
It's a conga line on the northern side. FaZe is there, SSG, Singularity, and Ghost. Ghost, no kills yet. They've got 2 down. They're going for the reses. Meanwhile, FaZe is moving in. And SSG is trying to defend, and I should say SSG, I believe it's, yeah, they're all 4 all there. So it's a travel north, Matt, as Liquid just takes center position for free.
Nice shots from Valier. Gets the down onto 2, but he goes down as well. Hetror's pretty close, but FaZe Clan has taken a little bit of damage. Hetror running back up the hillside, trying to make it back over for the res. Meanwhile, Low Kick's just trying to use get some damage off to the side of this. Got a little bit of smoke covered. Got to be careful about it. He's only got 2 members alive and a ton of teams around him.
If he spams that smoke with the Groza, he could eradicate Ghost Gaming. Any errant nade will take them all down. Meanwhile, Fuzz is trying to defend against the pressing SSG. He's got a couple of reses happening for his teammates. He's in a pivotal role. Mixie there on the high side. He's got the mini, but Spacestation Gaming is coming to play. This is an absolute clown fiesta, Matt.
We got Spacestation Gaming holding a nice high ground position. Baja, J-Sync pushing right along the side where we can see Fuzzface was just playing at. Now it's FaZe down to 2. Only 2 kills at this stage. Usually their high-end aggression nets them a lot more than that. But Spacestation Gaming sitting on 10 right now, but they just lost 2 of their members.
Wow.
Baja looks back over, managed to take down Team Singularity, but it is just a catastrophe for every single team that's along the northern part of this circle right now.
This is insanity. Fuzzface steps up, takes down J-Stank. Baja there. FaZe is trying desperately to hold on. Space Station already at 12, but I think they've only got 1 left. And now it's Ghost Gaming. They've been revitalized, they've been resurrected, and they're back in the fight. And this is, Matt, this is nuts.
I mean, FaZe still backing away from this Fuzz. Looking through, gonna see Baja manage to get 1 more kill before he has to retreat away and leave his teammate back behind. Ghost taking a little bit of damage from Bitloft off to the side of this. Meanwhile, Na'Vi gets the high ground.
Fuzz has also been spotted by Na'Vi, I believe. And Fuzz, the last man standing, Mixie down in the blue. And I think Fuzz, he's very low HP. Looks like he's got 1 HP, the poor guy. He's trying his best, living by the hairs on his beard at this stage.
So Na'Vi has a nice control point to play around. Just down below them is going to be Team Liquid. So this is a firing squad for anybody that wants to push along these hills. Looks like Ghost is going to be wrapping back around where it could be where Na'Vi is at. But Hell Yeah Brother and Fuzzface, each kind of solos, trying to figure out how they're going to make anything work. And they're going to have to push right into a potential bloodbath.
Na'Vi searching. Only Crush left from Hell Yeah Brother right now. He's in his little hut, but they're all outside the zone. We've seen Southern Shift after Southern Shift, and Liquid has been completely content just to sit pretty and wait, as now Ghost takes more fire from Na'Vi. A doozy will take him down. Balak is probably not going to get rezzed here. It's going to be difficult for McCoy and Trimsy to go over and help their down compatriot. And there's Fuzz spotted out, taken down by... You know it. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Good jobs coming out there. But now you have to walk back over towards Na'Vi. My question is, we saw Ghost when we popped over here. They were already down and trying to res from a difficult position. How much armor, how much meds, do they even have helmets left? And they're going to have to push into a very strong Na'Vi right now. Hell yeah, brother does get spotted out. So McCoy's going to get the kill onto that. But look, that's going to give away their position as Na'Vi just beads in the sights. And it is going to be very hard for Ghost to push into this.
Very difficult. They don't have the zone. They don't have the firepower. Meanwhile, Liquid opening up on the transitioning Bitloft. And there they go. Almost 1 down, probably 2 now, as Sizzlin is just kind of chilling. And he's going to have to move off his busted vehicle. Ghost Gaming making their way in.
So it's a tale of 2 teams already in position and 2 other teams just trying to fight their way into it. Na'Vi trying to retreat back along this hillside, seeing if they can get any more information. Only 2 members of Ghost, but they have a very difficult rotation to make ahead of them. They're so close to the circle right now, but they just don't have a clear path. If they opt back this direction, maybe Team Liquid being distracted with Bitloft right now might give them the opportunity, but Bitloft just narrowly inside the circle, huddling behind wrecked vehicles at this point.
This is where the terrain of Miramar is so strong. I mean, Ghost had to go through Na'Vi, but they're now on the low side. There's 2 there, but it's 2v4, and if they peek over, they could potentially get those headshots, take them down early, but any firing will draw the attention of everybody else. But luckily, Liquid is still tied up with the remnants of Bitloft, and there's still 2 there. So this is an interesting top 10.
Well, I don't know if that's lucky for him, because Na'Vi keeps hearing this firefight, and it might be them thinking, okay, so they're shooting at the remnants of the same team we just shot at. So you can see Na'Vi's just slowly encroaching towards the top. Trimsy gets the spray back over towards the doozy, trying to see if they can connect with those heads. McCoy's taking a lot of damage. A doozy does go down. Come on, Trimsy's trying to get the spray back over towards it, but it's the ground that's eating so much damage. McCoy at least manages to take down a doozy before he goes.
They're both so low health. They have to go for the meds. Luckily, Na'Vi's backed away, and they're going to back all the way away and just allow Liquid to maybe get some shots uphill. Samty's looking for an angle, but he can't quite find it. You know Liquid is interested in looking up there to try and pick off any steals or anything they can get. Trimsy, almost full health now, a little bit of a boost. He's looking down towards Bitloft.
Team Liquid can gatekeep out so many different teams from the angles that they have. if they can just get the perfect sight lines for it. That's the problem is trying to shoot back up along these hills. You were talking about it a second ago. There's just so many little ridges that people can play behind. Meanwhile, Ghost has to figure out what do you do. Looks like they've opted into playing towards Na'Vi. They feel like they've got a little bit of control to play with. The spray's going to go out from McCoy. Give that away to Na'Vi, and now Ghost has to figure out what they're going to do as they're taking blue damage to boot.
Yeah, it's so late in the game, too. That blue is just going to absolutely murder you. I think Na'Vi might have this in hand. Yes, indeed, Shrimsy does go down, or not down, but he's the last man standing. McCoy goes down.
It's a 1v1.
There's going to be McCoy getting stolen by Bitloft. Now it's a 1v1 against Bestalock. Shrimsy's got to make this happen. He's got some placement points on the bag. Oh, he can't get it. Bestalock steps up and just drills one into the dome.
Na'Vi manages to survive, but they're right along the blue, so having to crawl back out from it. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, aware that they have the numbers advantage, is just pushing back over towards Sills and the last member up, trying to run to safety. The spray from the Vector comes out, gets a little bit of damage, but then follows it back up, forcing him to cower behind the tree, and there we go. Bitloft gets eliminated, and that drops us down to just Na'Vi and Team Liquid.
Unfortunate. Now Na'Vi's opening up from the high side. 2 teams left, 6 alive, both sides. They're going to go for the res on Senya here, and that is going to set up an interesting 3v3, but Liquid is not going to allow them to get comfortable. Yempty already moving off to the side.
I mean, Liquid has the low ground positioning, so that means that Na'Vi is going to have to run down the top of these hills, all depending on where this next circle does pop. So that's why you're seeing them separate out a little bit, try to get a little bit more territory control, and force Na'Vi to run down a path that they do not want to take. So look at this separation out, trying to use terrain. I absolutely love this positioning from Team Liquid.
Nice map control, taking the center. We're moving into phase 8 now. As Bestalock, Pokemalo, and Senya, they've taken a lot of beatings on the way here. But James, the Vector guy, he's creeping up the hill, and he's looking for that opening down. That would be massive for them. Any damage he can do. They've still got meds, they've still got utility. Liquid in good position here, and they have excellent map position.
To be fair, nobody from Na'Vi would expect this. With Team Liquid making the push on the outside of the safe zone where they've already got control towards the center, nobody would really kind of expect James to make the push back up onto this. So it looks like the Vector's kind of invigorating a little bit more aggression out of Team Liquid in this position. Meanwhile, Jimty's just trying to get that center position control. Na'Vi's rotating around, and they have a present from heaven that might provide them a little bit more cover.
Every prone Sanhok guy has his dreams rested in the hands of the Vector guy himself. James refusing to prone. He's in the desert. Normally he'd be in a bush on Sanhok, but he's creeping ever forward, looking for a firing line, and a couple of shots ring out. Now he has some information.
And now the aggression push comes off the side of it. You can see with a little bit of information fed over, James is just running right over towards it. Looks like Na'Vi is aware that this could be happening, but Team Liquid's just trying to get control over the high ground. Now the spray comes out. Sampty does go down. James now peeking back around the other side of this.
He's going to go up. He's going to step up with the Vector. He can't get it to go. 2 down for Liquid. Only Yempty stands, and Na'Vi is swarming, looking to finish this game. Liquid had such good control, but they just didn't have the equipment, and here they come. The CIS squad steps up.
So there you go. Na'Vi walking away with a victory. Nice control. I really thought that Liquid had the angles for it, but Na'Vi managed to protect themselves, come out with a nice, solid round victory.
The Vector, though.
I like the Vector. I know.
I like the Vector too, man. But unfortunately, you know what? That's the best time for it, to be honest.
Forget the last fight. Yeah. Remember the motorcycle that we saw
Remember
earlier,
the motorcycle.
right? Okay, that's where the cool part with the Vector was.
ET phone home, and that was a nice game from Liquid. They did have the control, but they just didn't. Man, maybe that push up the hill. They could have waited a little longer for the circle to push Na'Vi closer, but Liquid has one mode, and that is always ever forward. And unfortunately, they lose the game to Na'Vi, who really needed this victory.
But I gotta say, Liquid did manage to get a pretty decent amount of kills.
Yep.
Comes in second place, and I love the aggression from Team Liquid at that stage of the game. Trying to make sure that you're in control of that game. It was just really the push point where Na'Vi was playing at was just not where they were expecting, and the terrain did Na'Vi so many favors, and naturally, the aim battle that came into play, Na'Vi just comes up on top.
And I think that high side, they had done so well. They had Ghost Gaming there. They had Bitloft down below them that they were firing at. Just the amount of management that Na'Vi was able to pull off and all the different vision, plus the fights, the reses, the meds. A really nice game from a team that knows that they're good.
Well, that's kind of one of the things about PUBG. You know, there's a play that doesn't work 1 time out of 10. The other 9 times out of 10, it would be great. that's kind of one of those things whenever you deal with how Liquid approached that, 9 times out of 10 probably would have gone in their favor, but the one time whenever Na'Vi just has their guns in their hands and in complete control, pays up, gives them the win.
I still think that patience might have been key. I would be interested to hear what their thoughts were in pushing up that ridge. Maybe you surprise Na'Vi in that situation, does Liquid. Who expects James to pop over a ridge with a Vector? I wouldn't. I mean, that was kind of unexpected for me as well, but I kind of liked the idea on it. Maybe if they would have just waited just a little bit longer and then let the next circle kind of set up everything, and then Na'Vi had to push out of that high ground spot, because we did see Team Liquid take the high ground into Na'Vi there for a second, which is kind of a role reversal, but if they just waited a little bit, they could have caught him as they breached over the side. Absolutely. Well, what a game it was, and we are now moving into our final day, but before we do that, let's send it down to the stage with Rachel.
Thank you guys so much. An incredible game from Na'Vi here, and a match that the caster said it you guys needed. Talking to you, you seem pretty aware of the situation Na'Vi's in. So tell me a little bit about the games before and what changed for this one.
This game was very hard for us because we got free shifts from us. And we play from East Edge, from West Edge, and do something incredible.
For this game in particular, you guys were all over the circles. As you said, you went into the east, you engaged, and then decided to rotate all the way back around to reapproach from the west. You guys discussed that as a team. What was the thought behind that?
We just don't have positions at the circle, and we decided to go to other side of circle.
Smart decision, definitely paid off for you guys. Now, as you're trying to break into these circles unsuccessfully in some games and very successfully in this game, who's making the calls, who's making the final decisions, and what are you looking for?
Decisions were made by Oceania, and the last decision, like go to push up the hill, was by Pokamolode.
And you guys did fantastic in this match. How are you going to keep this momentum going?
What again?
You're doing really well. You got a lot of momentum. How are you going to keep it going till tomorrow?
I don't know. We try to do the same, like good decisions. That's all.
When Na'Vi's doing their very, very best, when you guys are your most happy and your most frag happy, what's it like on the team? Tell me a little bit about your teammates and about the joy of playing PUBG.
I don't know what to talk about.
You know what I think is going to be best for Na'Vi? Letting you guys go, take a break, regroup, because we've got more games tomorrow. But for now, let's take a look at that last one with our analysts.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Best of luck. Na'Vi taking the final chicken dinner of the day. And as we reach about 9 p.m., that's probably a good time. They can head off the hotel, unwrap it. I imagine it's sort of foiled up, nice and warm and fresh, and devour it. Maybe with some rice, some salad. I don't know, anything on the side. Steve, Na'Vi, fantastic job from them.
They had to stand up against Liquid, who have been playing a very, very good game. James running that Vector. I know we both were joking about how I think this is Jimbo's plan. He knows in the next patch that submachine guns are going to be super powerful.
He's just warming up for it.
He wants to be the guy who adopted the Vector first.
Do you think that's, in terms of Liquid, do you think that's a conscious decision by James, knowing about this potential meta change with the SMGs, or is it situational, Patrick?
It's situational. Yeah. I'd say right now it's still not viable to actually use an SMG, even though, let's be honest, he did get a few kills there, but it wasn't enough towards the end.
I mean, we saw at the end, he should have, theoretically, if we're talking about speed of bullets, beaten Senya in that last shootout. Senya kills him with the M4, the only performing C9 or C Senya that we have at this tournament right now. And they played really well. I got to give it to Na'Vi. They know how to finish a day.
Indeed, they do. Now, let's head over to Toby for our final breakdown of the day.
Thank you, Paula. Final game of the day is over and done. But before we go to it, the breakdown here, crazy things happening right from the start. I'll show you the plane. Comes across the screen right here. Immediately off the bat, circle popping west. That's always tricky. It's always difficult. You can't wrap around. First of all, well, the circle's outside of the map. Second of all, everything you see alongside the line here is inaccessible terrain. So a lot of ground you cannot really take control of. What we do see, though, is a clear cut. I'll draw it up here for you as well. A clear cut on the southern side. There's no teams far south. Nobody's further south than Chumacero right off the bat. Only Tempo Storm realized if we make a quick run here, we can get a good good southern position in this next circle. You see them make their way forward, and immediately, everyone that was playing somewhat south, down and around the areas of Chumacero and Picardo, they'll go up and take Cinder. Center positions, always good to have. You ain't gonna be complaining about that, but the circle to come far down south. And now the thing becomes, for the teams that were south before, they know they have a chance of making a push up towards the middle of that one. We can take center control because the circle shifted down towards us. And of course, well, you're not going to say no to that one. You're going to go down and you're going to take the center control. So Red, they're up there immediately. Tempo Storm trying to push their way up to help take center control as well. And in the meantime, with 2 teams down south, well, we have a solid 14 teams trying to do something from the northern side. So 2 teams obtaining pretty much half of the circle, which means that for the guys that are sitting up on the northern side, this becomes, like, with the amount of teams you have nearby and close to you, it becomes more of a circle 4, circle 5 type engagement, the kind of chaos circle situations we get. Whereas to the guys down south, well, it's all joy and chill and, I mean, calm for them for the longest time, because guess what? What happens in the circle after that goes center, the one after that goes far down south again. And we can keep doing this all game long. I'm not going to do that, of course, but we can keep drawing this line for the most of the game. Something like 14 out of 16 teams only play the top half of the circle because nobody ever had a chance to go south. Red, Canids, Tempo Storm, the only guys that were only down ever there, got the center spots. Fortunately for Na'Vi, though, got themselves the win. Paula, back to you.
Thank you so much, Toby, for your help and astute analysis over the course of the day. Guys, final thoughts with regards to our last matchup, maybe overall thoughts on the day before we take a look at our scoreboard and leaderboard.
I mean, I think FaZe was consistent. They got wins today. They just were angry at us for saying that we're waiting for FaZe Sunday and decided to come out FaZe Saturday and just absolutely dominate.
I mean, look at the teams. A lot of them have been setting themselves up for tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. A team like SSG, they got himself a 12-kill game here in the last one. Will it be enough, though?
Yeah. Only time will tell as we head into tomorrow. Let's take a look at our scoreboard for match number 12, marking our journey through the tournament. 2/3 of the way through. Na'Vi with 17 points in first place. Space Station with 13 points in second. 12 kills. Monstrous. Bitloft in third.
They finished in 7th. They went out in 7th place in that match, but that's the value of kills. You don't get the circle, look for kills, and that was an NPL circle in the last game, and I think that they benefited from having to have played that so many times.
Team
I don't think you can call it NPL circle. We had it.
That right side where 30% of the thing is missing, it's every time we play Miramar over there. But they played a lot. They know it very, very well. Total leaderboard. Let's take a look at it.
I was wondering if Team Liquid could have gotten into second or third, given the points they collected there, but no, they just improve into third. Athletico go into second. FaZe Clan reigning up top with 107 points. They also have the overall lead in kills with 74. G2 in fourth. Guys, it's looking very strong for EU in that top 5 at the moment.
Let's be honest, right now, EU, OC, EU. Where's NA?
EU. NA, I mean, that's fair.
NA's not, we've got 3, 6 to 8 from NA. Let's take a look at our kill leaders as well. Luke still at the top with 25. James in second, joint with Fuzzface and Mexi of FaZe Clan, and it's Chris of G2 with 19. Luke has just come into this tournament representing Athletico and Oceania, and just shown us that they are a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, nice for us. That sign was in the audience. We pulled it up here. I know you're saying that, but I do want, you know, I've been pro NA because that's sort of, I'm the only NA guy up here. I got to do that. I mean, I want to remind you,
I would like to clarify, I'm completely impartial. You guys.
Yeah, no, that's part of the fun. Frost is the guy who started the tournament saying they were going to win. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But you know what? It's not over. I think the NA teams, some of them are still in a decent fighting position. Rumblers, for instance, despite having a really bad day, is still sort of, what was that, in the 8th spot, so they could push up. I just don't know what these bottom teams do besides cause chaos tomorrow.
Patrick, last words?
Well, you can also help your teams out. I mean, I want to see what's going to happen because we might see some hot drops coming on and stuff like that happening. You want to get rid of the teams that are in the top. If you're SSG, for example, how much do you have to lose and how much do you have to win?
Fair.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me once again today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Patrick. Big shout out to our casters and of course, Toby downstairs. We have one more day to go. We have 6 matches to play. At this point, some teams are pretty much out of contention. However, at the top end of things, it's anybody's game. Right now, it seems to be a story of Rosa red, Violets are blue. EU is ahead and coming for you.
Yes, yeah.
But NA and Oceania, and maybe to a lesser extent Latin America, could still have an impact on the overall table. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Don't forget also about the GLL is it Showdown? Exactly, I'm looking over there to make sure I get the name right. That's happening at 11 AM. And right now we have a bit of extra content, some more laid back, fun stuff with myself and hopefully a bunch of guests at my non-alcoholic bar, The Final Circle. We'll see you there.